So I'm kind of stranged out right now. Like I was working on this right with my test bulb because you have to use a test bulb to find the bad wire. So I found the bad wire right away. I'm gonna put two thermal fuses, like a big one like that, and then a small one to there to prevent heating of the to have a that shouldn't have a heater in the wires. The wires will burn easily, basically, if you don't have that. Um, you know what's strange is I was disconnecting this wire and the 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 connector vanished. And I looked over and there's a kid prancing around. I literally think children have some sort of demonic uh, spell ability. Like, I don't know if it's from Atlantis or something, but like the connector has vanished into thin air. Like, huh? How? What? So I do associate children with demons because I was witness to this event like a few times already, and whenever I look over, there's like a kid prancing on the sidewalk or something, like it's a happy day or some shit. I just think that's a very strange phenomenon because wow, oh, I hate computers. Like, I put my computer in admin mode to fix things because admin mode's all important. Um, it doesn't change back from admin mode. Like, what type of technology is that? That's gotta be the stupidest thing ever. So I can't do system restore, so I have to do Windows repair tool. I did that before. It's like you can accidentally put it on admin mode, and then it doesn't go back to user mode. I really don't like computers. Anyways, just adding that weird phenomenon up. Uh, like the end of this had a connector on it. I put it down like that, and a child that walked by made it vanish. The connector vanished from the head, and I was witness to that. Okay. Well, now we know why my gas scooter doesn't work, because of weird demonic children. I would not use those powers freely because something's gonna stop you from using them. I'm just putting that out there. Something's gonna kill you, basically. Just look at Chris Angel and Dynamo. Dynamo's like a magician that uses all these powers, and he's like all fat and shit now, and he has all these diseases. Anyways, I'm gonna get back to work. I just want to throw that out there because I kind of ran inside after that happened. It was so weird. I ran inside. I think a demon's controlling your kid. Like, seriously. I think you have a demonic little friend, so to speak. Big friend, like Ted Bundy big, you know. Anyways, I have to go and find another connector for Ted Bundy's spirit that took the connector that's guiding the little boy that went across here. Fucking really fucking strange. Really strange. Freaky strange. Wow. That's, wow. Wow, that's strange, man. Like, anyways, we're trying to put two thermal fuses instead of one. Like, my moped used to work really well with a 32 volt fuse, but something happened, you know. It's been 4 years, maybe 5, and something happened with the thermal fuse, it burnt out because of the vibrations, and these 12-volt fuses, they might not work because they constantly burn out. The 35-volt fuses might work, but they might warp or something. So we're putting a high-density thermal fuse. I thought about that, and 2 thermal fuses should keep the system cool when it gets hot. So we're looking for a connector. Oh my god, that's so, I'm just so freaked out right now that I'm trying to hold my sanity here from the demon boy that was on a bike with his dad across the path. Maybe his dad worked for the army and like killed lots of people, and he has the powers. I just thought that was the strangest. Like, I'm not in the magic show. I don't want that $10 to disappear from my wallet. Thanks. Like, if the $10 is in my wallet, just keep it in there. I probably need it for something. I'm just throwing that out there. That demon boy just did that because, you know, I've seen demon kids prancing across the path before. Like, even if it snows, they'll start prancing, or you know. And you know, I've been witness to like fish disappearing. Like, that's the weirdest thing ever. That's just really strange. So if you're driving your car, don't be surprised if like your engine just collapses and the kid you hate is like in the back seat. Don't be surprised. Okay, my bad. The connector was just attached to the wire. I guess there was no magic sorcery there. Like, my fish are still missing though. Yeah, so. Yeah. So what we're doing is we're putting 2 thermal fuses instead of 1. And we're also creating a way, right? Because the wires kept burning out and disconnecting, burning out, disconnecting, because I only had 12-volt fuses left, and they work just like 32-volt fuses, but for some odd reason, the 32-volt fuses have thicker, they work a little longer, or they weren't burning out. They weren't burning out the 32-volt fuses, so what happened is, I think the pulse circuit before this started happening is that the pulse circuit had weak connections when I built it, primarily. Either the pulse circuit had weak connections, or I guess where the fuses weren't, like in 2014, like the pulse circuit had really was really built, but the connections, like a joint on it might have been loose or something. Like, might have been not as tight as they are now. So I think it's starting to burn out fuses after a few maintenance checks. I actually rode it for like 2 years or something. Yeah, that's my only theory. And then it started burning out the connectors like every few runs. And then I put 2 and 2 together and today, and I said, why not just use 2 thermal fuses, like one big one and one small one, or 2 small ones. That's a good idea. That's definitely a good idea. Yeah, we just got it fixed. Like, if you touch this with this is what electromagnetism does. See that? It's not a small spark like a conventional moped. It's gonna spark a lot when it's touched, so Um, that's the dangers of it, basically. It's really, like, the joints are really sparky. Uh, let me get another thermal fuse. So, and the connectors get wobbly and weak because of the spark, but I think we found a solution here. We have 2 thermal fuses, so. Oh my god, where is it? Said something to take it. I swear to God, I found it after looking for it and I put it back in here. Oh my god. What's wrong with my brain? Here it is. It's buried in junk. I actually have 3 thermal fuses. So we put that on. But I don't know where the third one is. So. And what we're going to be dealing with is just conventional electromagnetism. I might have to modify the diagram if this prevents the wires from disjointing. The diagram will have to be modified. Because the diagram says 32 volt, but I mean that does work, but you might as well just use a direct connection because it's gonna burn the wire, the fuse. And what does that do? It burns the wire, the fuse. And what does that do? It burns the wires. So you just need something that can contain a lot of heat like that. I said it burns wires. I was wrong. Electromagnetism doesn't necessarily burn wires like an electric vehicle. It just loosens them. So see how clean that is? But it'll just loosen the wire like it's pulling at it. And I don't have a welder and solder doesn't work, so what I do is this is brand new basically, and this was the broken connector. So what I do usually is what I do often is I'll replace the connectors, but I didn't think about this, but a thermal fuse might actually prevent this phenomenon from happening. A 32 volt fuse works, right? But um, hmm. But I don't actually have any left, so I've been using 12 volt fuses. The 32 volt fuse's difference is that the wire in the middle, the fuse in the middle is a little bit thicker than the 12 volt fuse, and that's the only real difference. I'm trying to find the other small version of that. I do have one. Anyways, I'll keep looking for it. Because I don't want to use that big one, because I think that big one's for, I don't know. That big one's like, might cost, I think it just has, it can contain more amperage. That's all, really. Anyways, let's redesign this right here. See how loose that joint is? It just likes to pull out joints, man. It just likes to do that. Man. And when you put it on there, look at that. Look at what it can do. It can burn. Also, you know, I put aluminum foil there, so any wobbly connectors is a no-go for this, for electromagnetism. If you're interested in the science, see how that's wobbly. You really have to make sure it's not. Wow, that's some sparks. Let the sparks fly. Ah. Wow. Okay. Okay, we're ready to start it to see if it works. The sparks are really up there. They're really up there. That's two thermal fuses, not one. I like how this is really wobbly. You see how I love nature so much? Ah, god damn it. Okay. Spin it. if we can spin it. We still have the problem. Maybe we should have put the thermal fuses on earlier. You basically have to still look for a broken wire. Oh, we found it. The cord, the motor connector came loose. The motor connector. Alright, that was. I'm rotated. I'm rotated. Anyways, very exciting here. The motor connectors also do the same thing. They like to go loose a lot. But look how clean that is. Like, that's not old. But that motor connector came loose. It looks like we don't have any that can fit on the hooks. What happened is that my hook was too wide. It's like a large hook, and it's like a small connector. I don't have large hooks or connectors. So that's why it came loose. Not necessarily a pulling problem. Yeah. Well, hold on. What the? That's the problem with electromagnetism is you do have heat, just like an electric, but it doesn't go on to the positive. It just goes to the negative joints. So I'll have a burn there and a burn on the on this motor connector. But it could be that the connectors are old and I reused them or I didn't clean them. It could be that. So I have to replace those two negative connectors. So I'm doing that right now. But the positive never has a burn. It's totally clean because it's not carrying a DC current. And what's happening is that this coil is very important because it'll put the voltage up, and so will that fan. I covered it with tape in case just for insulation. I might undo that or buy a new fan and replace it, but it's covered with tape for insulation purposes. It doesn't need to be insulated, but I just covered it with tape anyways. Yeah, so what's the difference between this vehicle and say the one you're driving, your electric vehicle you'd be driving on the road is not great, you know. Like, it's true that those laws are fundamentally fact, that I won't go forever with this one, but like say you have an engine with more horsepower. That's what an electromagnetic vehicle would be. It's just an electric engine with more horsepower. Yeah. So that's a 1,000 watt. I think that's like a. Is it gonna rain? Like, really? And then, like, I step outside, and it's really nice. So I'm like, perfect day. I put everything outside to work, and then the wind starts blowing. So the wind's getting annoying, and then it starts getting really cloudy within an hour. Like that's why I don't like nature too much. Is because like one moment can like changed drastically. Look at that. It looks like it's gonna rain. I gotta do this fast then. Alright. We're done, basically. It was just the motor just came off. I didn't see it in that dark ass basement. Even with that flashlight, like, you can't see back there. Like, it sucks. But I knew it was the motor anyways. Yeah, so this is ready to drive again. I felt so embarrassed that I had to buy pizza because I earned money for this guy, from this guy. And, you know, I'm ready to put the Domino's on there again. And this time, the previous time, the tire flattened. And I was like, nah, I fixed it. You know, of course I did. The next time I went up there in Mudville, USA, like the mud in this month is ridiculous. It's ridiculous to get up that hill with this. Like, see this hill? You think that's easy to get up, you know, with a bike. But not with a scooter with small wheels. It kept digging in further and further. I couldn't get it up this hill either. And it was embarrassing. The motor didn't come on, it came off. So we put two thermal fuses on there, and now it works perfectly. Now it's gonna contain the heat a little bit more. So I'll give you a little test. So that's power. That's electromagnetism. It'll always have power. It's like the scooter's brand new. So that's how it feels like when you drive electromagnetism. Like 4 years later, the scooter's still brand new. Yeah, that's definitely not a Tesla. It's a piece of junk, right? But if you think about the laws of electricity, it's a lot more beneficial. Like, you could leave this outside in like Siberia and go to your local grocery store. You know, without the electricity charging. I only had problems this winter because the connectors kept coming off. Like, they kept going loose, like really loose. But I think this solved it right here. Instead of a 12-volt fuse, I think I just use a thermal resistor that can contain like a lot of voltage. Because this right here is climbing to 100 volts and then it's stopped by a 5-watt resistor. It's just a law of thermodynamics, you know. I'm just gonna be ahead of you just by a little bit, as long as I maintain this, and as long as I can use it. We'll fix this later. I would fix this right now with this. This is what I was planning to do today. But because of the cloudy weather, and because I put my computer on admin mode, I have to do computer maintenance, like a lot of it. I accidentally did that because Steam was messing up my controller. So I built a XPattern configuration and I finished it and it's working. But, you know, I was like, oh, you know, Steam's hacking my account or something, because I put 2 gigs of RAM in. Big time hacker, the Steam network. I put 2 gigs of RAM in, and it worked again, just like once or twice, and then it went back to normal. You know, weird. That's not hardware. That's software. That's software related. So that's Steam doing it. So I put my account in admin mode to help it from being hacked, and what do I get is more problems. Like, now I have a administrator only PC. So I have to put everything back to admin. I have to make admin mode as my primary mode as my primary user. And I don't mind doing that because I have this theory that if it's not hacking, it's like some sort of security breach, like through user mode. I don't know. Computers are really glitchy, and now I can't fix this and show you how you fix a spark plug because of that. Like, I know how to fix the spark plug. The electrical spark plug's out, and it's not the CDI so far. It's not the ignition cable. It's not the spark plug. We got a new one. And it's not any of the cords on the continuity. So we have to check the stator for that, and that's a big project. I was gonna show you how I take apart a stator. Unfortunately, I'm not gonna do that because the gay empire is just getting me with steam and holding me back from helping you guys. I might do that later, but I can't guarantee that I'll film it. Anyways, I can't guarantee that I'll film it when I do that. But I think it's a stator problem. Like a connection inside the stator came loose. Very obvious. There's no sparks coming up, and a stator creates a spark. Oh, it's not, if you want to think, because it's a mess. If you want to think, it's not the starter engine either. We already tested that. You can easily test a starter motor. But this is what a gas scooter is. It's kind of like this is why gas is so much better than electric, is because it's kind of like an engine that has it's kind of like an engine that recharges a battery, correct? My electric's doing that too, but it's doing that via the, imagine if the starter motor was always on. So it's recharging it, but not fully. It would be like a gas vehicle with the starter motor always running, if you want to think about what an electromagnetic vehicle would do. So it will go the distance, and it's very conventional, and it has power in it compared to an electric. Like those dinky electric scooters are like, they're like very little power, very large energy consumption there. Electric is like the Stone Age to me. So, but it'll go the distance. Like it might go triple the distance of an electric, or double the distance. I don't have the tools to test it. Like I forgot my Apple iMac somewhere at Best Buy on the store shelf. Anyways, I keep saying burnt on electromagnetic vehicles, but the truth is that the wires don't get burnt. The metal gets red, basically. It has a red sulfation process. So they'll get too red, more like black. Like they won't get black, basically. They'll get red. So, because it's controlling the electrical magnetic field somehow. So it'll get red while, which is a good color. It won't burn, but it will. It will make the joint very flimsy. So I don't know the word for something that turns red. Like I'm not a scientist, so I don't know that particular term. But it turns red like sulfur, I don't know. It has a red tint to the metal. Anyways, I hope you like this this class on electromagnetism and the functions of an electromagnetic scooter. it should be a lot more effective than an electric scooter or car because you're recharging a battery while you drive. You can't do that on an electric. And, I see these YouTubers that deny like free energy, and that's true. Like, whatever they say is true, but there's a fundamental law to induction that Faraday's law of induction. You should definitely research how that works. So that's as free of energy you can get with electromagnetic devices. So it can actually replace the electric car industry. I could I could actually even say it could replace the electric car industry. But you don't even know why. If you don't even know why the voltmeter goes off in midair, or why the connectors turn red, why bother? Like, why bother selling this to the mainstream public? Like, because they don't know either. So I just keep it for personal use. But the technology is there, and some people like Troy Reed on YouTube may have stumbled upon it, but there's no verification on that. Like, the fact that is the difference between Troy Reed and me is he might be dealing with a high amperage system, and you can't have high amperage when you recharge something. That's impossible. It'll either explode or something will burn out. You need very low amperage to recharge a battery. So that excess 0.25 or 0.45 volts that the motor creates goes back into the battery as 13 by 12. So it's about a volt more, I would think. It's substantially more than 12 volts when you're riding, and you're actually getting that from the motor at the equivalency of a wall charger's 6 amps. So what I'm doing is, I guess it's equivalent to this wall charger. It's like hooking up this wall charger to the wall and driving it around. That's how much energy you get back into the battery. I think it could be like something like 6 by 24, and then it changes via resistor to 12 by 13. But it could be like a 12 volt battery by a 24 volt battery. So when it's off, basically, here, let me give you a little sample of what I mean. Let me give you a little sample of what I mean. It's not connected to the wall right now, but it's not going to read 12 volts like an electric. It's going to read 13 volts like it's still connected to the wall. Like 13 volts like it's still connected to the wall. That's what it's going to read, not 12 volts. So it won't read 12 volts, but 13 volts. Does it does that? But I'm not sure how much how much more effective it is than a wall charger. I personally think that I have no idea. like how much more effective it is than a wall charger. But it's it's called self-generation. Like I think the Atlanteans had that type of technology in Daidia, like in the Cuban continent, and I think it's a very obvious and known. It's very known to the fourth race. So that's all I got. I just don't know what the principles of the voltage is. I just see what I see with a voltmeter on the circuit is 12 by 13. So one side is 12, the other side's 13. End of story. Like 12 by 13. End of story. That's what I see. But it might be more, it might be less.